Hey, welcome back to AVC, where we're teaching you how to build your Ford Transit. Today on the channel, we are going to be installing vinyl floor on top of our insulated flooring system. So whether you're installing maybe a lawn coin wood look or a black coin like we are today, all these install practices are going to be the same. Let's get to work. All right, so we've done a little bit of work in the van in preparation for spraying adhesive and installing our vinyl. We have cut sections in our subfloor for L-track. So we have an L-track here and another one in the back. We have installed a JMG seat base underneath our subfloor, and that is so that we can install a nice safe seat system down the road. And then we've also installed some bolts in that JMG plate so that we don't clog up our threads with adhesive. These are going to stay under the vinyl floor, and then we can cut out a nice little circle above and locate our hardware in the future, and it's going to be really easy. You'll also notice the seams of our floor system, because the floor system is a three-part system. We are going to have a couple seams in the floor. This one in the back is a little more typical of our standard seam. So we're not going to do any preparation to this seam. We're leaving it raw. If they're really bad or you're really picky, you can put a little bit of Bondo in that location and then sand it down. Just make sure you let that Bondo off gas for a full 24 hours before you install your vinyl. So with all that prep ready, we can blow this thing out and get ready to put our vinyl down. All right, so grab a friend and slide your vinyl into the van. We like to fold it in half to get it into position. It makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Pull it all the way to the very front and then leave our excess out the back doors so that we're ready to trim. Once you've fussed around with it, got it in place, it should look just like this. Okay, once your vinyl is in position and you're ready to start applying glue, what we like to do is put a little screw right on the very front edge in the center where our fold is going to be. So Ian has found center up at the front and he's going to go ahead and put a screw in. Then I'll grab the screw gun. Then here at the back, we're going to do the same thing. And from here, I can move my floor. I can make sure that we're lined up just right. I can also add some tension and stretch that floor open a little bit. At this point, this is what's going to lock our floor in and make sure we're perfectly centered. So then I'm going to put another screw here at the very back. We want to get it as close to the edge as possible. And don't worry, this is going to be covered by our trim, so we'll never see this hole. Now we have a nice point to fold our floor in half, and we know nothing's going to shift on us. With our screw locking the floor in place, we're ready to fold our flooring back and start spraying glue. So this is going to be our last chance to make sure our floor is as clean as possible. So do your best job and clean out any little last bits. We put a little bit of cardboard around the edges of our vinyl just to save on cleanup time in the future, protect ourselves from overspray. All right, we're ready to start spraying glue, but before we do, let's just look one last time to make sure everything is as clean as possible. With that, let's get spraying. On our first application, let's not worry too much about getting it tight underneath our seam here. We're gonna get it nice on the second half of the floor, make sure we get a good bond on that seam. Now that our glue has off-gassed and we're ready to apply our floor, we're going to climb in behind our flap of vinyl. We're just going to nice and gently roll that vinyl across the floor towards the driver's side. Try not to get any kind of kinks or anything in our floor as we apply. As we get close to the wall, we just want to roll real nice and tight to the points where we're starting to make contact. Then we can make some relief cuts as we go here. And that way we can keep rolling the rest of our floor tighter as we go. That'll be good. When I get to the bottom of a relief cut, I like to make a T. And that helps keep it from running. Don't worry about the corner details right now. We'll hit that after everything is installed. Well, it's gonna look ugly now. It'll look nice later. With the first half of our floor installed, we're ready to do the exact same thing on the passenger side. Let's pull our screws and fold the vinyl back. Okay. Okay. So where our underfloor wiring comes up through that floor, I'm just gonna put my finger there and I'm just gonna make an X cut through the floor, being careful not to cut my wiring behind. Then I can feed my wiring up through that floor and continue on. Okay, so the whole floor is down. We're ready to get into some of the details. I like to have my roller at hand because I can use this to get my corners rolled really tight. All these little areas pressed as tight to the corner where I can. Then that's gonna help me make a nice accurate relief cut. So using the body of the van, I'm gonna use that to help guide my knife. And I'm just gonna slice down here. There's a little bump on the Ford Transit there. So go down, and I'm gonna try and leave a little bit of connective tissue here at the bottom. We can always take out a little bit more. Then, in order for this to fold nicely against the deeper wall here, I'm gonna have to cut out about 1/8 of an inch of vinyl floor. Okay, so we take that little sliver out. Then we can start pressing tighter in. Looks like I need to make my relief cut down. So this is not a fast process, but it's kind of meditative. You can just kind of take your time. Get in here, make sure your cuts are nice and clean, your folds are clean, anywhere we can. I like to get it, we want to leave the flooring tubbed up the back wall here. But it does look like I need to make some relief cuts here. And this bit is going to be under our utility cabinet, so I can actually just leave that. You can continue on. If you wanted to try and match cut it, you can. I'll give you an example of a match cut here. So I'm just going to find the point where our two flaps meet. One firm cut here, peel out my underside. Get a nice seam there. There. I like to just roll this edge down. That goes behind our step. When it comes to the columns, really there's not a specific height you need to trim to. When we come to wrap our column, we're actually going to match our landau foam right here where the overlap is. So I like to go about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, something like that. It doesn't matter too much. Just try to make them all consistent throughout the van so they look purposeful. So if you put L-track in your floor like we did, what I like to do is cut the length flush, then I leave about 5-6 inches on the end and I fold that edge over. We don't use L-track finishing caps because our L-track is typically underneath our utility cabinet. But you could also put a cap in there if you wanted to do it that way. So there to the end. Just like that. All right, and with that, our install is complete. It's time to move on to installing our trim and our step. And if you, like we did, put L-track in the floor, time to put that in too. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button so others can find it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it's time. We'll see you on the next video.